Hello,
Don't
good
start.
evening, everyone.
No, don't
Yeah.
start yet. Don't start yet. It's still a few
So you
seconds.
started recording, that's why I saw. Thank you.
We still have 30 seconds to go. Hang on.
Okay.
Hi, Vaishali. Welcome back.
Good evening. Well, thank you so much.
Last 15 seconds.
Hello. Am I audible?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another great meeting of PKC Fireflies, meeting number 142. We are going to have, as usual, some more fun today, and there's some exciting things that we're going to do today. But before that, there are certain do's and don'ts that we follow through the meeting. Let me take you through that. Number one, the meeting will be recorded. So in case you have any reservations, do let us know. I request all the members to refrain from talking about sex, politics, and religion. In case you're not speaking, please mute yourself so that the speaker is not disturbed. And in case you're speaking, try to have your videos as well as the audio on. Now, before we proceed, let me share the mission of the club. The mission of a Toastmaster Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And thank you, everyone. Now I hand over the meeting to our presiding officer and our president, Sai Ramachandran. Over to you, Sai.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you for stepping in as the Sai at the last minute. We are running a couple of minutes late. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a 10-minute recess while a few people that we're waiting for are able to join the meeting. I do see a person who's joining us for the first time. I think Momita is here. Momita's audio. Yes. Hi, Momita. Welcome. And if you could turn on your video, then we'd be able to see you as well. But yes, like I said, we're going to take a quick 5 to 10-minute recess starting now until, say, 7:10. Hopefully, in that time, the people who need to be in the meeting will be in the meeting. And until then, please feel free to network, get to know each other. If people haven't met each other, please introduce yourself, do all those good things. And we'll get back on track for the meeting at 7:10. Thanks so much, everyone.
Hi,
Momita,
Niyamat. Long time.
oh, you guys know each other?
Hi. Yes, long time. Sorry, just got a call. I'll get back.
All right, let me mute. She's already muted. And let me also make sure my agenda is with me. Saurabh is giving the first speech. His evaluators, yeah, good. Kashif, Bhuvi, Aditya, all right. Now we wait. We look at each other and have nothing to say to each other. We can do that awkward silence kind of thing.
I really appreciate Sai. It's very smart of him to actually convert this into a recess. So the meeting started on time. We started on time and then the recess happened. So everything was planned.
Of course, you take no break. And recesses are, that's the purpose of a recess. You take a break when there is things people are running late and they're not able to join the meeting on time. We started on time, like you said, exactly like you said.
Yeah. And congratulations, Sangeeta Shruti, on your appointment as area director.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man, that's such a politician move. Like, namaskar, dhanyawad.
That's I'm always like that.
And this is in sync with the theme of the day also.
Oh.
By the way, Sangeeta Shruti, your namaste your hands should not be in front of your face. That's sort of the people. I always see people doing it to the side, like so. Your face is fully visible.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to ignore that.
No, as a politician, if you continue.
I am not a politician. Have no ambitions to be.
But we need young people in politics, man. What are you talking about? No, Sandhya, we are on recess. Welcome. All right, Kashif is here. So we need one more person who's Kashif's evaluator. Who's Kashif's evaluator? Bhuvi. I think Bhuvi said she's going to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's cut the recess at 7:05. So we have one more minute to chit chat. I see one new person here. Momita is here, but she's hasn't yet turned on her video, so I don't know if she wants to talk to us or not. But if you do, then we'd love to talk to you as well, Momita. 7:04. We're gonna another few seconds. We'll restart the meeting. I see Momita now. Hi, Momita.
Hi, Sai. Hi, everyone.
Hello. All right. So it is 7:04. We're going to restart the meeting, or we're going to come out of the recess and back into the flow of things in about, if I can get my clock to show up. Where's my clock? Oh, another few seconds. Yes. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the recess is now officially over. We are back on track for the meeting. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And we have a person who's never been to a Toastmasters meeting before, I think. Am I right about that, Momita? Have you ever been to a Toastmasters meeting before?
No, this is
All right. So here's how it goes. You tell us tell us about your name and what brought you to this meeting. And you can say that people like Sai and Sandhya bullied you into coming. You can say that.
okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Momita Roy. I am working with the pharmaceutical company. I'm presently based in Navi Mumbai, and I wanted to explore a bit about getting to speak in front of a crowd, and that led me to research a bit about Toastmasters. And yes, Sandhya and Sai did connect with me, and whatever we discussed, it was really intriguing to me. So yes, I'm here.
All right. Intriguing is a good way to put it. You can also say that these guys twisted my arm, but intriguing is good enough. We'll take that. Thank you so much for joining us. We have people from different clubs who've been to our meetings before, but they're not members of BKC Fireflies. Let me acknowledge their presence. Sangeeta Shruti, Aditya, Vaishali, you guys are always a pillar of support for BKC Fireflies. One thing we should be doing as a matter of protocol, if you have a role to play in the meeting, please do add your role name in front of your name so that myself as a Zoom master is able to spotlight you and do all those good things when needed. And while that is happening, I'll also at the same time talk about or start my role as the master of ceremonies for tonight's meeting, because this is a special meeting where we are winding down our XCOM year. So we started in the executive committee for the club on July 1st, 2023. And we're nearing June 30th, 2024, which means that 1 year of our dictatorship, because we're talking about democracy tonight, our dictatorship is going to end, and we're going to start, a new set of people are going to take over and start running the club. So this meeting is special in that regard, which is why we're not having the standard format of the meeting, where there are prepared speeches in the beginning, table topics and impromptu speeches in the middle, and finally evaluations. We'll have the first and the third, which means we'll have prepared speeches and evaluations, but the rest of the time we'll take for running the elections of the meeting and introducing the next XCOM that's coming in starting July 1st. All right. With that said, let me see if there's anything else I should be talking about. Speaker 2, everybody's names are updated. Saurabh is speaker number 1. So let me do that for you. Let me quickly rename you as speaker 1. Niyamat is evaluator 1, I believe. So let me do that as well. Sorry about a little bit of bookkeeping always helps run the meeting a little more smoothly. All right. Now, the theme of tonight's meeting is democracy. And democracy has been in practice all over the world in human society since human societies came down from the trees and they started forming collectives. And what did democracy look like at those times? As people started living as groups, there were moments when they had to decide on something. They had to decide where to go to hunt, or whether a person needs to be included or excommunicated from a group. Those times, the entire collective used to get together and decide that together. And that was a form of democracy where everybody had a voice and a chance to speak about the topic at hand, and they could discuss it and they could come to a decision together. And that actually is a specific type of democracy, which is called direct democracy, which means that everybody who needs to be involved in the decision making is in the decision making. But the democracy after that has evolved, because obviously as the size of the collective became bigger, so when there are 50 people in a village, it's relatively easy to do the work of figuring out what decisions to make. But as the population size increases, the thousands and thousands of people, you can't really always have everybody in the same room deciding what to do next for every topic at hand. And some decisions are big decisions, but there are small decisions as well. For example, if there's a decision to be made about which river to dam, it's a technical decision. It's not always possible for the entire audience or the entire city's population be involved in that. So we came up with something called representative democracy, in which we said, we will ask a few people, we'll elect a few people to take care of those decisions for us and yield some powers to them. One of the powers being that you cannot be sued as the representative for decisions made in your capacity as a representative. For example, if you decide as a representative of the city of Bangalore that we need to tear down a building somewhere because it is obstructing traffic, if you've done this in your capacity as a representative of the people, you cannot be taken to court in that regard and said, you should not have done that, because it's not your personal responsibility. You are representing the will of the people who elected you. So it's not you who can be punished for it. And that's one of the safeguards in representative democracy that have been placed into the system, so that people are willing to take up the responsibility. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to convince anyone to take up any responsibility of representing a population, because you're so scared that any decision you make is going to cause someone to come and sue you and cause trouble for you. All right. Now, oh wait, there are other people in the meeting who need to join. All right. So that was a flavor of democracy. Now, this meeting, the theme was chosen for democracy because at the end of it, we will be having elections and technical elections, and a new slate of officers will be chosen and installed. But prior to that, we have to run through the entire meeting. And the meeting itself needs a little bit of support for the MOC, myself, from people who are responsible for helping me conduct the meeting. For example, we need someone who can help us keep on time. And that person tonight is Sandhya Krishnan. And let me spotlight Sandhya and ask her to explain to us how she plans to execute her role.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the timer, my role during the meeting is to manage the time, make sure that we're running on time and all the speakers are finishing their speeches on time. So for prepared speeches, specifically, if the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes, I will show this green fan at 5 minutes, the yellow fan at 6 minutes, and the red fan at 7 minutes. The disqualification time would be 30 seconds on either side. So any speaker who speaks for less than 4.5 minutes or for over 7.5 minutes will be disqualified. The timings for the evaluations I will announce as the time comes, and I will give my report to the general evaluator when called upon to do so. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much. You might have noticed that there were a few crutch words that I had used, crutch sounds, filler sounds that I've used during my spiel, which led to this point. But that is something we always want to avoid in Toastmasters. We want to speak more fluently, more clearly, and not use crutch words and crutch sounds, and use, double starts. There's one more thing for Sangeeta Shruti, who's our R counter, to help us keep track of. Sangeeta Shruti, can you explain to us what the R counter's role is?
Namaskar, everyone. I'm Sangeeta Shruti, your R counter for today. In my role, I will be listening to all crutch sounds like ahs and ums that you use, all crutch words like and, so, crutch phrases like you know, and, so, etc. Also, I would be looking at pauses which sound unplanned within speeches or when you're speaking. I will present my report when called upon by the general evaluator.
All right. Thank you very much. And finally, where is our grammarian? Are we missing our grammarian, Sandhya?
Vaishali is here. Vaishali is the grammarian.
Let me see. Vaishali, I'm going to rename you as well, my friend. Because I didn't see grammarian next to Vaishali's name, and I didn't get a chance to skip to the agenda. Vaishali, where are you? There you are.
Vaishali, you're on mute.
I got it. Vaishali, could you tell us how you plan to execute the role of the grammarian? And you're on mute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, Toastmasters. This is Vaishali here. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language usage, and also take note of any incorrect usage of language, and also appreciate the outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts that is used by the speaker. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day is provenance. Provenance means the place of origin, the beginning of something, something existence. For example, the sentence would be, the manuscript has a distinguished provenance. And the idiom of the day would be through thick and thin, meaning through many difficult times over a long period. Example, she stood by me through thick and thin. Will be appreciating if speakers use this word. I will be giving the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting, and also a report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, everyone.
I feel my job has been made much simpler because I know I can use the word provenance and through thick and thin right away. The provenance of democracy in the world is the city-state of Athens, which was the first recorded instance of people having a voice in how their city was to be run. Through thick and thin, democracy has survived. And now, as Winston Churchill once said, it is the worst system we have, but it's also the only one that works. So, I mean, he said something different, but you get the point. My point was to use the phrase of the day, through thick and thin, and the word of the day, provenance. Thank you so much, Vaishali. Those are wonderful words and a nice phrase to introduce into our bloodstream. Let me quickly check with Niyamat if she's back. Niyamat, if you are back, please give me a thumbs up because we need you for the next item on the agenda.
I'm here.
Oh, Niyamat is here. Perfect. All right. So before we get to the prepared speeches, let me quickly say the origin of the word democracy itself is Greek for demos, which is people, and kratos, which is rule and power. You'll see the word demos in words like demographics and a few other words. So democracy has, those are the roots of the word democracy. In India, representative democracy of the Republican kind was introduced in the state of Vaishali many centuries ago. So India too has a long history of democracy in action. One example of democracy which I really like and I think should be familiar to a lot of people. There was a time when, and this is from the Ramayana, so it's truth or veracity is up to your discretion. There was a time when the people of Ayodhya questioned the chastity and purity of Sita. An autocratic ruler would have said, you know what, you guys don't have a right to question me. I will not listen to your questions. But the way Ram handled it, Lord Ram handled it, was to ask Sita to go through a purity test. But the point is not the purity test. The point is that the people had a right to ask a question and the king had to respond. And that was an example of democracy in action. In a way, it wasn't a decision to be made that the people had a voice in, but they still were able to question the king. And that's an example of a minor example of democratic norms which have been in existence in scriptures and human societies for thousands of years and thousands of millennia. So it's part of who we are as a people. All right. With that, let's move on to the first section of the meeting, which is prepared speeches. There are two speakers who've chosen to spend time leading up to the meeting preparing for a speech. One of them is the person you saw at the beginning of the meeting, our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Saurabh Patil. Let me replace him on the spotlight. He will be evaluated by his evaluator, Toastmaster Niyamat Chimthanawala. I'm going to add her to the spotlight as well so that Niyamat can tell us how she plans to evaluate Saurabh.
Good evening, one and all. I'm Toastmaster Niyamat. I'll be evaluating the speech delivered by Toastmaster Saurabh. Toastmaster Saurabh will be delivering a speech from the path Effective Coaching, Level 1, Project 4, Speech 2, Evaluation and Feedback, and this will be his second speech. What he's required to do is to practice applying feedback that he's received in the first speech and hopefully deliver a better speech incorporating all of the suggestions. The speech will again be for a duration of 5 to 7 minutes. And I wish you all the very best. Toastmaster Sai.
Saurabh, are you able to see the timer screen? Are you able to see Sandhya?
Yeah, clearly.
All right.
Green. Yeah.
Toastmaster Saurabh Patil, the power of positive attitude in daily life. The power of positive attitude in daily life. Toastmaster Saurabh Patil, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, MOC Sai. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Toastmasters and distant guests, good evening. Have you ever been woken up, with certain issues like you stubbed your toe, you spilled the coffee on yourself in the morning, but you also, not only that, but you've been to the office or you're out of the house and you realize you forgot your mobile phone at home. You all been there, right? I've been at these places and almost all of these. Today, I want to talk to you about something that can, turn around such days for you. Something faster than you can say a double espresso. You know what is that? Attitude. Let's start with a little fact. Attitude is everything. It's like a Wi-Fi signal we have at home. When it is strong, everything is running smooth. Your internet, your mobile, your streaming. But when it is weak, that is when the challenge starts. Good luck with streaming when your Wi-Fi is low. Attitude is how we see the world, but more importantly, how the world sees us. Think about it. I mean, we have the rainy season coming up, or it's already arrived. And one morning when it's raining heavily, two people get up. One says, "Great, what a miserable day this is." And the other one says, "Wow, what a lovely day for a nice cup of coffee and a book." Same day, different attitudes. And guess who's going to have a better day? Let me give a hint. Not the one who has cursed the weather gods. So what's the big deal with this attitude? There is a big deal with attitude because attitude shapes everything around you. Attitude influences everything around. You know how it benefits you? Let me give you 3 benefits of having a positive attitude. Number 1, it boosts your personal well-being. A positive attitude can actually make you more happier and mentally healthier. Seriously, it's like a scale of mental spaces. People with positive attitude actually face everything with much more confidence, stress out less, and more likely to laugh when you spill that cup of coffee on your shirt. 2 days back, when I was coming to my cafe, I was eating my cornetto ice cream. And, because the car was shaking, we were on the road, a part of the chocolate fell on my t-shirt. Now, I would have been craving like crazy that, oh God, but I just laughed it out. Well, it's just a phase. That was my attitude. I mean, who needs a boot up when you have a good sense of humor? Second benefit, building resilience. This Monday, when I was delivering a speech to one of the NGOs, I was talking about resilience. And I was telling them, it's all about a roller coaster ride. When the roller coaster ride, the roller coaster is climbing up, you're excited and you're anxious, but the moment it drops down, you scream out of your lungs. That's how life is, full of ups and downs and unexpected drop downs where you scream. A positive attitude helps you hang on to the ride and also enjoy it. When things go south, instead of cribbing, you say, "Hey, what did I learn from this today?" It's all about bouncing back. Remember those crazy balls we had in a childhood? When you throw them down, they used to bounce back like anything. Even like a Spider-Man, no matter how big he makes a jump, how tall he jumps, wherever he falls, he always lands on his legs. Isn't it amazing? Yes. Apart from this, the third benefit is it boosts your professional success. Ever notice people who are in corporate world? Ever notice that, the people who are promoted in the office, people who get rewards in the office are the ones who always find the silver lining in the mountain of papers. That's because the employers always love a positive attitude because it's contagious. It makes the team work better. It makes the office much more happier. The culture is much more healthier. Plus, positive attitude makes you more resilient to the 3 p.m. slump when you are actually looking for a nap. Now, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying to ignore the reality or pretend everything is perfect. That's just annoying, you know. See, it's about focusing on the solution despite having a problem. It's about keeping the hope alive when your favorite TV show is no longer streaming on the internet. Let me tell you a story. It's about me. In 2019, when I was facing a lot of heat, in 2019, when I was almost going bankrupt, I had lost hope. I was actually facing a lot of setbacks on my personal professional front. And I was actually living in the Murphy's Law. But then I decided in 2020, I'm going to change my life around. I'm going to reinvent myself. So that's when I started my cafe in the lockdown. Was it easy? Never, not at all. But this idea of having a positive attitude kept me going. And it didn't just boost me to survive, it gave me the confidence to thrive. Now, what I learned from my experience is attitude is a powerful force that can change. It can turn obstacles into opportunities. It can turn setbacks into comebacks. So here's a thing. Attitude is a tool that shapes your life or your daily living. By choosing a positive attitude, you can boost your well-being, you can build resilience, you can boost your professional services, you can succeed professionally, you can create more opportunities. It's a choice we make every day, and it's a choice that can transform our lives. So before I close my speech, I just have one message to tell you. Let's embrace the power of attitude. I mean, let's wake up with that energy to tackle whatever comes our way with a smile, with a laugh, and a little bit of caffeine. Because with the right attitude, every day can be a great day. Thank you. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Brilliant job as a speaker number one, Toastmaster Saurabh. And I can already see, you've been with us for a few months, and I can see the amazing changes and growth in your public speaking. Very good, a job very well done. Let me quickly talk about the one of the things that democracy has its roots in is this document called the Magna Carta, which enshrined the rights of the individual, even though they're living under a monarchy. Okay, so a lot of documents, or constitutions, and a lot of documents that we live under, we believe in, have their provenance in the Magna Carta, which was the first document which said people have rights which supersede the rights of the people who rule over them. And that is a thought that I'm going to park that thought in your head for now, because we need to move on to the second speaker. But that is an important thing to remember in a democracy, that people have rights which are superior to the rights of the people who are ruling over us. But let's move on to speaker number two, who happens to be Toastmaster Kashif Kidwai. Let me put him in the spotlight. And his evaluator tonight is going to be, whoa, what happened? Where did the evaluator go? Oh, we have Bhuvi, who's running a little late. I completely forgot about that. Sandhya, what do you want to do? Since Bhuvi is running a little late, should we do a couple of, we have a new person who joined us. So Kashif, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to drop you from the spotlight until, for the time being. And hopefully we'll give Bhuvi a couple of more minutes to join while Sandhya is following up with her and making sure that she's able to join the meeting. And while that is happening, I'm going to ask Dr. Naz to turn on her video and maybe tell us a little bit about herself, what brought her to the meeting, and what her goals are. Dr. Naz, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here. So let me see if my video can be on. Just a second. Give me.
No, please. That reminds me, there was an ad when I was growing up. Give me Vijaya Butter. Do you remember? Do you guys remember that? Or am I dating myself too much? I'm too old for that. All right, there's Dr.
So
Naz.
hi, here I am.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Naz, and I have been a Toastmasters since a while now.
I see.
I had taken a hiatus for a while, and I plan to rejoin.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cross my fingers and I'm going to ask the question which I should not be asking, but would you consider joining an online club? And if you would you consider joining BKC Fireflies? Yes.
Yeah, so let me try that's the whole idea, that online gives you the freedom, but I do miss the physical interactions too. Let's see. But as I said, that I am very keen on restarting. I tend to feel that I grope for words which I would like to improve. I love.
The person,
So
person who's keeping track of all that is Sangeeta Shruti. You better watch out, because Sangeeta Shruti has eagle ears. She's listening to exactly how many gaps you have, how many pauses you take.
and the reason I'm actually here is I'm Niyamat's mum.
Ah, I did see the similarity, but I didn't want to ask. So I could tell that there was a little bit of similarity.
Yeah.
All
So
right, well,
I was involved with a particular project which got over today. So
okay.
here I am.
Oh, your daughter's busy 100% of the time. So are you, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm in Dubai. I'm online from Dubai.
I see. All right. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, and hopefully you'll enjoy its evaluation, which is going to happen soon.
Yeah, I hope so, and I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
And just for FYI, I'm a clinical psychologist. So
I see. I don't want to know what you are thinking about me right now, but I'm hoping that you're putting your professional hat aside and attending as a Toastmaster, not as a clinical psychologist.
absolutely, and my professional hat is a pretty happy hat.
All right, that's good. All right, Kashif, I have some good news for you. Your evaluator is here. Bhuvi, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you are.
Actually, can I take 1 minute more, please? Just 1 minute.
All right, in that case, I'm going to bug Kashif. Kashif, let me ask you. So you have a speech coming up. So I don't want to derail your speech. Let me ask you a few questions about your journals. What is the latest entry in your journal? Or is your speech about journaling?
No, although journaling, I do mention it in passing.
All right, so let's talk about your daughter. How's your daughter doing?
She's great. She's gone for her walk.
I see.
And I was worried that she will come because she hasn't come yet. And when she comes, she will be ringing the door.
I was going to ask if your walks are timed strategically so that you can give your speech while she's out walking. Looks like it is.
I have kept the key on the doormat, which is very, very visible. So I hope she sees that, and my nanny is with her. Her nanny is with her.
Right,
so
right.
Hopefully she will see.
All right. Bhuvi, how's it looking? Good or good to go?
I'm ready.
Let me quickly also add Bhuvi to the spotlight so she can tell us how she plans to evaluate speaker number 2, Kashif.
Hello, greetings Toastmasters. I'm going to be evaluating Toastmaster Kashif today. Kashif is giving his L2P1 speech for the Pathway Presentation Mastery. His speech title is A New Pandemic. The goals of his L2P1 speech is to identify different communication styles and be able to move between them. So yeah, that's it from me. Best of luck to Kashif. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Yes, like Bhuvi said, Toastmaster speaker number 2, Toastmaster Kashif Kidwai, A New Pandemic. Oh, let me before we go there. Are you able to see Sandhya's screen, and are you able to see the cards that she shows?
No, I think let me just scroll. Yeah, I can see it now.
Perfect. So she's going to use those cards to let you know what your timing signals are.
Yes, sure.
Number 2, Toastmaster Kashif Kidwai, A New Pandemic. A New Pandemic. Speaker number 2, Toastmaster Kashif Kidwai.
Good evening, everyone. There is a new pandemic which is spreading rapidly. It is spreading like wildfire. And it is likely that you have already been infected. I am talking about the pandemic of being on our phone. It's an infection which is turning us all into zombies who are glued to their phone all the time. Even as we are working, even as we are walking, and even as we are driving. Things have really reached a bizarre place right now. Our dependence on our mobile phones has reached a stage where we need the mobile phone even when we go to the toilet. let me ask you, or let me put a dilemma in front of you guys here. Let's say that you want to go to the toilet, but your mobile phone is discharged. It's a tricky situation. What are you going to do in this tricky situation? Are you the bold one who will go to do their business without the mobile phones? Or are you the conventional ones who will wait, recharge their phones, and hold the urge till their phone is charged? That is the stage at which we have reached with our dependence on mobile phones. It has reached the stratosphere. Now, people have noticed this, and people are taking steps to reduce our dependence on the mobile phones. And one of the strategies which they are employing is to delete the apps, the troublemaking apps from their mobile. These troublemaking apps, I'm sure you know them. These are Facebooks, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Netflix, the Prime Video, etc., etc. In theory, this sounds like a good strategy. But if you want to go down that route, I have some bad news. This will most likely not work for you, because this is an infection, but it is equally also an addiction. And as any addict knows, that our addiction strikes us when we are most vulnerable. So picture this scenario. It's a Friday evening, and you have had a very hectic day at office, and you have just returned home. Now all you want to do is to relax. Now, this is exactly the kind of situation in which our addiction will strike us. And the conversation with the addiction will go something like this. Your addiction will say to you, "Hey, don't you want to watch a movie?" To which you will reply, "No, I can't. I am trying to be more disciplined, and I couldn't even if I wanted to, because I've deleted the apps from my mobile." To which your addiction will say, "Oh, really? Because there's this new limited series on Netflix, and it would have been perfect for you. It is about Michael Jordan and his legendary discipline." And that, my friends, would likely be the end of your discipline. I have tried this strategy, and this is how it usually ends. So let me share with you a strategy which has worked for me, and most likely, if you do it honestly, it will work for you as well. There are two parts to this strategy. The first one is a detox, and the second one is understanding what this addiction is taking away from us. So the first one, detox, like the name suggests, it's a digital detox for at least a month from all of the troublemaking apps. I did it during the period of Ramzan when I was fasting, and this goes with the philosophy. This aligns very well with that philosophy, because this is also fasting, but from our digital consumption. Now, there are two things which I want to mention about this. One is that it is not easy. And when I was doing it, there were times when I stumbled. But when I stumbled, it's not like I put my hands up and said, "Okay, it's over now. Let us go back to our old ways." No, I took it on the chin and then continued from the next day with the detox. So that's one. The second one is that we need some allies in our fight with the addiction. And one ally for me was my journaling app. Whenever there was an urge to pick up my mobile phone, I may pick up the mobile phone, but I would open my journaling app and start to journal. So that is point number one, digital detox. And the second one is understanding, to really understand what this addiction is taking away from us. And for me, what I realized was that the addiction was taking away my free time. It is the time when I can relax and recharge my batteries, so to speak. Earlier, when I was talking about the time in the toilet, I was only half joking, because one, that was the time which used to be sacrosanct, and nobody could have taken that away from us. But now that time is gone. And second thing is that is also the time when we get some of our best ideas. I'm sure you all have heard about the flash, about the insight which Archimedes got when he was in the shower. And this is not an isolated incident. Research has found that 72% of the people get their best ideas when they're either in the shower or in the toilet. So that was the realization for me. And the realization was that what this addiction is taking away from me is my creativity. Now, going back to the detox, when I was doing the detox, I told myself that I will do it for 1 month. And if it doesn't work out, I am free to go back to my old ways. But as I continued the detox for 1 month, I did not really feel the need to go back to the apps. So I continued with my detox. And the fact that I had the realization of what this is taking away from me also helped me to continue down that path. In this way, I was able to get rid of the addiction to a very large extent. So that's how it worked for me. And I'm sure if you try it in earnest, it will work for you as well. That's it from me. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Kashif. That is a wonderful speech and great ideas. I mean, I can't imagine a month without using some of the apps, but more power to you if you're able to manage it. Great job. Timer, do we have a timing report for our speakers?
Yes. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Saurabh, took 6 minutes 48 seconds. And speaker number 2, Kashif, took 7 minutes 14 seconds. So the good news is that both speakers have done well on time and they're both qualified. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you so much. Aditya, are you ready to take over the job of, take us to the next stage of this meeting?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me please quickly introduce our general evaluator, Toastmaster Aditya Balya, the most cheerful person I know, the person who always brings a smile to everyone's face when he enters the meeting. Aditya, you're the general evaluator. Over to you to take us through the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Senior Pilot Toastmaster Sai. Here is your first officer facilitating the general evaluator session along with the Breakfast of Champions. The first segment of the Breakfast of Champions is by the individual evaluators, my team of flight attendants. Please help me welcome the first evaluator of speaker number 1, Toastmaster Saurabh, which is Toastmaster Niyamat. Over to you.
Timer cards, please. So at 2 minutes, right? Cool. Okay. Good evening, one and all. Yes, I am not exactly sure why I'm a flight attendant today, but let's wing it, pun intended. So thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh, for a fantastic speech. I'm trying to see you. I can't find you though.
Unfortunately, he's not in the meeting. Once he comes in, I'll spotlight him with you.
All right, all right. So picturing him right there standing in front of me. Thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh, for a wonderful speech. Firstly, let's begin with what you were supposed to do as a recommendation from your previous speech. You fulfilled both those criteria. 1, standing and delivering a speech, and 2, sticking to only 3 items to be talked about rather than 5. So kudos on that. Very quickly, let's talk about all the positives and wonderful things that you had to mention about in your speech. Considering it is about a positive attitude in daily life, that is what your theme or title was, you did complete justice to that. From the beginning till the end, you kept motivating, kept informing, and kept reiterating the idea of being happy, not just because it's a choice that one makes, but because it has some added benefits. And then throughout your speech, you went bit by bit, giving personal examples, as well as just sharing anecdotes of what-if situations to say why being happy is the alternative, better alternative. You spoke about wonderful suggestions that you gave that you can boost a person's confidence. It can help in a professional space, as well as your personal life. And you give an anecdote supporting to it. Second, you began with a rhetorical question. Every time that you open with a question or a quote, it immediately grasps the attention of everyone who's listening. Third, you began with saying that you'll only focus on 3 aspects, and you made a hand gesture. So you made good use, a good utilization of the camera and the space. Fourth thing that I really enjoyed was the wordplay. Speaking things like a powerful force that can change obstacles into opportunities, not only survive but thrive, reflect on resilience, and you give an example of a ball bouncing back that immediately stays with the person that, yes, okay, that's what you mean by resilience. Very quickly, couple of suggestions just to take your speech to the next level. You can add more expression to your speech. An expression doesn't only need to be a facial expression. Expression can be in all aspects of you delivering that speech. When you came to a personal example, you can tone it down. You can be a little more emphatic because it's your personal journey that you're talking about. Also, I think you can focus a little bit on the camera while delivering a speech, because your focus shifting to the screen and then to the audience takes your attention, our attention to you away. So a suggestion that you can practice being and looking at the camera at all times. Last, very quick, what exactly is Murphy's Law? Although it's widely known, you can still reiterate and tell us what is Murphy's Law and why is it such a ditch? So coming back to your story, yes, positive attitudes definitely help. Kudos to you for using the hand gestures and wordplay. However, things like working on expressions can take your speech to the next level. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you very much, flight attendant Toastmaster Niyamat. Now we have another star attendant serving another star passenger. Please help me welcome evaluator number 2, Toastmaster Bhuvi, for speaker number 2, Toastmaster Kashif. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. First of all, as Niyamat said, she doesn't know why she's a flight attendant. I also don't know, but I'm very happy to be one because I haven't been on a flight in a long time. So yeah, anything to be in the skies. Coming to my Toastmaster Kashif, who delivered his L2P1 speech on the new pandemic. Firstly, Toastmaster Kashif, a beautiful speech, great content as always. Your content always takes a leaf out of your own life and things that you have done to self-improve. I made notes when you spoke about journaling as well, and this time also I made notes when you spoke about how the best ideas are received in either the shower or the toilet. So I know, and I think I speak for everybody in the room when I say that we all will try to attempt a digital detox so as to not be victims of this ongoing pandemic, which seems to have absolutely no end in sight. So definitely great topic, very relatable, great structuring, great points. Very much enjoyed this speech and understood the entire flow. I liked your beginning. You asked a question and you intrigued everyone. Topic was very well decided as well. You used a lot of hand gestures. At one point in time, you basically personified addiction and speaking to your own self by using this space. And one side, the left side was addiction and the right side was you. So that was very well done. Space usage was very good. You spoke with pauses and you enunciated your words very clearly. So it was very easy to comprehend what you were saying. So overall, I enjoyed this speech supremely. But now coming to some points of improvement, I felt that while this speech was very well structured and you had adequate pauses, you were attempting to give expressions as well. There was still some room of improvement. There was some monotony in your voice that came into play. There was also monotony in your gestures. One observation that I had is that when you're speaking, you use your hands a lot. and it is the same gesture that is repetitively done. So therefore, a point of note when you're delivering your next speeches that use hand gestures, but not so much, reduce them, and maybe additionally make a note of using relevant hand gestures like you attempted with the personification of addiction and you, right? Then my second point of input is that your speech agenda is to understanding your communication style, and basically to speak about what is your communication style that you have, and how which one works for you. So I felt that this speech, the agenda of the of your L1 P2 speech and what you spoke about was not very clearly connected, because you spoke more about a addiction, or you spoke more about something that you do, but it was not communication, which is two-way. So that I felt that is something that you should make note of, because it is not pertaining to what the objective of what your speech was. All in all, once again, I would like to say I really enjoyed the topic and the content, and these are small points of improvement. I'm sure if you work on them, and both points of improvements are a scale. So there's little room of improvement for you to totally reach the next level. So best of luck to you, Toastmaster Kashif. Over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, my group of flight attendant, for that very personalized service. To avail this service next time, I request you all to book business class like Toastmaster Kashif and Toastmaster Saurabh did this time. Now, I'd like to introduce the group of air traffic controllers, that is the tag team. We have the tag team's report now. And the first report is by the timer of today's meeting. Please help me welcome air traffic controller number 1, timer Toastmaster Sandhya. Over to you.
Thank you very much, First Officer, come General Evaluator. The timings I've already announced for the prepared speeches. For evaluation, Toastmaster Niyamat, who was the first speech evaluator, took 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Toastmaster Bhuvi unfortunately went overboard on the time. She took 4 minutes, 38 seconds. So she gets disqualified on the basis of time. And as far as the meeting time goes, I am glad to say that we actually have more time in hand. So we are not running behind time, but we are actually ahead of the time. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sandhya. Now we have a turbulence report by the R counter of today's meeting. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti for the R counter's report of today's meeting. Over to you.
Thank you, First Officer. Not much turbulence today. A little bit of rough patch here and there, and I will tell you where. Firstly, we go with our SA and first speaker, Dr. Saurabh. 1 hour and 3-4 times usage of his favorite phrases, which are you know and I mean. We have our presiding officer and Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sai Ramachandran. 1 hour, 1 so. Going on to Toastmaster Sandhya, our timer, 4 hours and 1 that make it a total of 5. Toastmaster Kashif, entire speech delivered with no crutch words, no filler sounds, no nothing for me to note down. Toastmaster Niyamat, there are 2 hours, 2 so's. Toastmaster Bhuvi, we have 24 hours and we have 6 so's and ands, which are crutch words used. And we have our first officer, Toastmaster Aditya, nothing so far. We also have Toastmaster Naz, who used 4 hours while she introduced herself to us. That was the turbulence report. Back to the first officer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti. Now we have the last air traffic controller, Toastmaster Vaishali, the grammarian of today's meeting. I couldn't think of a metaphor. I hope she doesn't include me in the report. Over to you.
Thank you once again. Grammar is actually heart and soul of any language, irrespective of whichever language we speak. I'm really spellbound listening to the speakers on this board. The usage of the vocabulary was excellent and fantastic. Few words I have written over here used by the speakers, which really boosted me as well, where when they were talking about having a positive attitude in life. I have written as roller coaster word. Really, I could relate with the example that the speaker has given. The good usage of vocabularies were resilience, excited, anxious, and also having a positive mindset towards life, which really was, icing on the cake. And also, I would like to point out a very good word used by another speaker, digital detoxing, which is a need of the hour. And also how we can get rid of the addiction which is controlling us. The way the speaker has curated the words with this amazing vocabulary is really outstanding. I only felt that it could have been cherry on the cake if we could add few quotes, few phrases, few idioms, which will really make your speech more rich and more live, and it could be enjoyed by all of us. So thanks for giving me this opportunity. That's all from my end.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vaishali. Now we have the first officer's report, the general evaluator's report of today's meeting. Flight number 142 of BKC Fireflies Airlines was supposed to take off at 7 p.m. All members of the flight were onboarded on time, and the announcement started so that the takeoff could happen on 7:05 p.m. The member of the cabin crew, the Sergeant-at-Arms Toastmaster Saurabh, made sure that the in-flight announcement was clear and to the point. He explained the rules and regulations of the flight, today's meeting, and made sure everybody adhered to it. A small recommendation to the Sergeant-at-Arms can be to also include the rules and regulations for the online meeting in detail. For example, when am I supposed to keep my audio and video off and on? And what are my prefixes on my name on the handle should be? The air traffic controllers, timer, R counter, and grammarian presented their introduction concisely and briefly. It was clear enough. One recommendation to the timer is to include timing guidelines for evaluation as well, because we have an evaluation segment also. One recommendation to the R counter's introduction can be inclusion of repetitive words. She mentioned filler words, R's, ums. Repetitive words was missing. The grammarian, yes, used a very relatable and frequently used word of the day and phrase of the day. I wish she had also urged the use of word of the day and phrase of the day in the chat box. That pushes the passengers to use the word of the day and phrase of the day more frequently. I congratulate our business class passengers, Toastmaster Saurabh and Toastmaster Kashif. I've been witnessing their provenance and progress over quite some time, and I can surely say that both our business class passengers have leveled up today. Evaluators, aka my team of flight attendants, provided a very wholesome and specific evaluation. The evaluation was appreciative and also constructive. One small recommendation to both the evaluators can be as follows, nobody in specific. Number one, always evaluate the speech against the objectives of the speech. Although I saw Bhubi doing it, both of you can also provide solutions on how the speech can be made better vis-a-vis the objectives of the speech. Number two, I could see a lot of recommendations on delivery, But I wish I could see more recommendations on the structure, on the content, and the storytelling of this speech. Nevertheless, both of the in-flight attendants were spectacular and flawless. The service was totally a 10 on 10. Lastly, although we don't have the second co-pilot, the in-flight entertainment by the table topic master, although I think Toastmaster Sai, the senior pilot, my co-pilot, made up for it. What a beautiful MOC remarks on democracy. Very well needed and very effectively presented as well. I always like your scientific approach to TMOD that makes it even more interesting apart from being factual. One recommendation to you is the confusion or ambiguity in the name of the role. I was wondering, why is it MOC and not TMOD? Because you were doing pretty much the same, you were carrying pretty much the same roles and responsibilities of the TMOD. I was not able to figure out what's special today. Nevertheless, over and all, I loved today's experience. My team was fab, on point. I hope you enjoyed flying with BKC Fireflies Airlines. I hope you keep traveling with us. Good evening to all of you. Over to you, MOC Toastmaster Sai.
Now that the general evaluator has asked the question, the point of calling myself the MOC is because there was no clear distinction between when the presiding officer role ends and when the Toastmaster of the day role starts. So it's a little awkward to say, I'm now the presiding officer and then switching over to the Toastmaster of the day. And that's why I picked MOC as the name to give myself. But point taken, maybe there should be a little more clarity on why I call this role the Master of Ceremonies. On the topic of democracy, I do want to add the final denouement of this entire conversation on democracy. The rights that Magna Carta first enshrined in our Constitution does today, they are a check against a direct outcome of democracy. One of the downsides of democracy is majoritarianism, where you say that since a majority of the people believe that a rule or a law or a choice is to be implemented and enforced, everyone has to do it the same way. And so that 50% plus one majoritarianism can be a detriment to people who do not want to do some of the things that the majority wants them to do. And that is why documents like the Magna Carta or the Constitution exist. That is why we moved from being a democracy, which only says, as long as most of the people want something, we're going to do it in majoritarianism rules. We move into something called a republic, where we do not allow just the majority to rule. We take our guidance from the rule of law. And that is the last stage so far in the journey of democracy, from city-states in Athens and Vaishali, and in American Indian tribes like the Iroquois, who had concepts similar to representative democracy, even in those times, thousands of years ago. Till today, it has evolved, it has grown. There was periods where authoritarianism seemed to be the default choice, but then eventually democracy has taken root. This year, for example, 60% of the world has gone to the polls. That does not mean 60% of the world is living in a democracy. That's far from the truth, because there are countries which went to the polls, which is not really a representative democracy, because there is no credible opposition and there's no credible choice. But that does not mean that people do not have a vote in their elections. 60% of the world will be voting this year. India has voted. The European Union had votes prior to this. America will be voting later this year. Russia had elections this year. Many, many people look up, who are not living in democracies, look up to countries like India and also and the US and European Union and other countries for inspiration. They get their strength from knowing that there is a better alternative to authoritarianism and majoritarianism in the world, and they look at countries like us. So we, as citizens of this country, should take heed and respect the fact that we have been given something precious by our Constitution, hold on to it, and vote, which is what I'm going to get to next. You'll be asked to vote on the polling of this meeting, or your choices on who the best participants of the meeting are, which is what's going to happen on your screen right now. And while that is happening, let me quickly grab a few people who did not get a chance to speak in table topics tonight because it was one of those meetings where we did not have table topics. Dr. Naz, since are you finished voting, Dr. Naz? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to do table topics. Yeah, I think you're on mute, but that's cool. The votes are pouring in. If you're ready to speak, Dr. Naz, give me a thumbs up. All right, you're ready to speak. Oh yeah, we have plenty of votes. I think this is good enough. I'm gonna end the poll. Thank you very much. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna give people who did not get a chance to speak in the meeting to actually do a little bit of a table topic. So Dr. Naz, you will be kicking us off. Cynthia's entered oh man, people are pouring in now. You will be given a topic on the spot and you will have to tell us, you'll have to respond to that topic. And your timing is 1 to 2 minutes. Sandhya, are you ready to time Dr. Naz? All right.
Will I be shown
you will have to look
time the flag after 1.5 minutes?
It'll be
Yes.
1.5, and then 2, and then 30 seconds on top. So 1 to 2 minutes. All right. Can you see Sandhya's screen? She has the green card up. You might
Actually,
have
I
to
can't.
one of the screens.
Yeah,
Can you spotlight me, Zoom Master?
That'll take
I
over.
can see. I can see the green fan.
All right, that's what you need to see. It's going to switch to yellow and red and all those things. All right, your topic, Dr. Naz, is life in 2045. How's it going to be?
Okay. Life in 2045. I personally do not believe in hypothetical thinking because it can give you a sense of looking or visualizing something that you may never see or never have a chance of validating. And from all of us over here, it's very likely that it won't happen because 2045 is way ahead. But then, having looked at it another way, there was something that I had watched as a child in Star Trek where there was a concept called energize, where if I wanted to go and come to BKC just now, all I had to do was go into my capsule, energize, and there I would be. And I find that because I love travel, and I would prefer that I did not have to pay overweight in an Indigo flight, especially. So Energize would have been an amazing way to go from place A to place B of my choice, without visa, without boundary, without having to go to feel that I'm welcome wherever I go. And I will always be willing to welcome anyone who comes to my home. Belonging and inclusiveness is what I wish for, ask for, and propagate. Thank you very much.
2045, if we can get energized to work, just the word energize lets you go from wherever you want to go, wherever you are to wherever you want to go. I think I'm looking, I will, if I knew this is going to happen, I will move heaven and earth to survive until 2045, because you made it sound like all of us are going to die before 2045, but I'm going to make sure that I survive and then use energize to travel.
Yeah, I think I will survive too.
All right, so that's the spirit, right? Why imagine the negatives? So we'll hope to survive till 2045, and we hope to get to energize from point A to point B. And where the first point of where is the first point you'll go to, Dr. Naz? Will you come back to India or will you travel somewhere else?
The first place where I would love to go is Egypt.
Egypt, nice. So energize to Egypt. All right. So next,
energize.
On deck, we're going to ask Momita if she's interested in doing a table topic. We'll make it easy for you. We'll make it super simple. Trust me. I think you're muted, so you might have to unmute yourself.
I would like to have a try, but since it's my first time, I might make a lot of mistakes.
Absolutely fine to make mistakes. This is the place, Toastmasters is the place where you make mistakes, and nobody is there to judge you on this. Everybody's made mistakes. We've been in the same place as you. All right. So you know what I'm going to do for you? I am going to spotlight Sandhya with you. Are you able to see Sandhya's screen with the green signal, green card and everything?
No.
All right. Let me spotlight. Oh, you might have to flip your screen. If you're on a mobile phone, you might have to flip your screen a couple of times. There'll be one woman with a green thing in front of her face.
Yeah, I'm now able to have.
All right. So where do you work, Momita? Are you working? Where do you work?
I'm working since the past 3 years. I've been associated with Lupin Limited, but now I'm in the process of switching my job. So,
What is the name of the company? Lupin Labs.
Lupin Limited. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I know. I've heard of Lupin Labs. I think there was an office close to us in Mumbai as well.
Yeah. Yes. We have our head office registered at PKC, but
Yes.
due to some issues, the office has now moved to Navi Mumbai Aero.
We used to. I used to walk past Lupin the office every day to get to work. Well, your camera turned off. Are you still there with us, Momita?
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
So your topic is. Let me get out of the spotlight because this moment is yours. Your topic is the best drug that the world has we've invented as a species. What's, according to you, the best medicine that we've invented as a species?
Well, good evening, everyone. So, the best drug that has been invented, according to me, is kindness. Kindness that we as a person show to another person, and nothing is more important or more precious than a random act of kindness. A very simple example that comes to my mind for the act of a random act of kindness is in the morning, if you are getting ready to go to your workplace, and while traveling, if you look or come across a person who's not as privileged as you, what do you think? What would you do if you had the opportunity to make the make their day better? Would you give them money? Would you give them food? Would you give them water? And depending on your answer and depending on what you do, maybe that will make your day better. And one act of kindness for that person might lead them to take better care of themselves, or maybe take better decisions. Yeah, so that's all from my side. That's all I can think of. Thank you.
I by mistake placed you on spotlight. I think that was a wonderful attempt at table topics. Congratulations on your first table topic. See, it wasn't as hard as you thought. How did you feel? Did you feel? How are you feeling now? I'm curious about how you're feeling right now.
Nervous. I think I made a few mistakes. It was not structured well.
They say this in Toastmasters all the time. There are two speeches. Every time you give a speech, you're actually giving two speeches: the speech you want to give and the speech you did give. And I think the speech you did give was by far a very, very solid first attempt. I think you should not feel any sense of nervousness or anything like that. You did a great job. Thank you so much for participating. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for your act of kindness in participating. Let's put it like that. All right, so now I have quickly the opportunity to share the results of the voting. There were a few questions asked of the audience. Our best, let's go with the auxiliary roles. The best auxiliary role player tonight was the person who's a politician at heart. She just doesn't know it. Sangeeta Shruti, you were voted as the best auxiliary role player as the R-counter for the evening. The best speaker tonight was Dr. No, let's. Oh, actually, I said doctor, so already the answers. The cat's out of the bag. The best speaker tonight was Dr. Saurabh Patil. Is he there in the meeting? He's in some dark room. Dr. Saurabh Patil, congratulations. Right. And finally, the best primary role player tonight was our general evaluator and first officer who usurped, who showed up the primary pilot, Toastmaster Aditya, you were voted as the best primary role player tonight. Congratulations on a job. Very well done. All right. Now that the voting is over and the main business portion of the meeting is over, we have time for a little bit of fun because we are coming to the end of our executive committee year. We thought we'd take this chance to thank a few people for being such an integral part of BKC Fireflies and the journey that we've all covered in the last 1 year. The people who stood up when there was a paucity of role players, there were people who stood up and played the part when they had to take up roles or they had to give speeches. And I think we owe all the people we're going to talk about now, we owe them all a debt of gratitude and a big thank you. The executive committee got together, we discussed, we butted heads, and here are a few names that we want to explicitly thank and congratulate for the work they've done as part of the BKC extended family, not just the BKC Fireflies Club, but also the extended family that we have. Sandhya, did you share the names with me? I think you did. Let me make sure I have the names. Yes, I do have the names. The Firefly who has shown brightest in the last 1 year, the person who's taken up the most roles, who's stepped up and done a wonderful job every time they were given an opportunity to take up a role as a responsible role within the meeting. There were two people that we thought we wanted to thank and acknowledge. They are, if I can find them on screen. Guys, please keep your videos on. It's going to make my life so much easier if I can see you on video and spotlight you right away. The two people we wanted to thank for being the shining fireflies of 2020, 2023, 2024 are, let's welcome them with a drum roll. Can you hear the drum roll? If you can do a drum roll, the person we want to thank for that being the shining fireflies of BKC Fireflies are Toastmaster Mahesh and Toastmaster Bhuvi. Thank you, both of you. You guys have taken up roles. You guys have put your own twist on those roles. You've made us realize how well those roles can be executed and how differently you've thought about those roles and showed us a better way. And I think the executive committee, the 6 or 7 of us who have watched your evolution are extremely, extremely proud of you. And hopefully you'll be continuing this hard work and this magical thinking of yours, this brilliant thought brain of yours, and be using more of it in the coming year. Thank you very much. All right. The next person we wanted to acknowledge has his camera turned off. Why is that? Let me get back on Spotlight so we can. The next person we want to acknowledge is the super firefly, the person who has achieved the most levels, who's finished their education pathways as quickly as possible. And that person happens to be the person you first met when you first walked into this meeting. That person is Dr. Saurabh Patil. He was the person who helped us achieve our education goals. I know Sandhya is very grateful to him because he was the one who did his levels the fastest and made Sandhya's life easier. Thank you very much, Dr. Saurabh.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And we've seen your growth, like everybody's saying. We've seen your growth. We've seen you improve. We're very happy to have you in the club. Thank you for being part of BKC Fireflies. And now, BKC Fireflies is a small family. It's not a very big family. It's not a very big club. It's about 15 to 17 members. But what we do have is an extensive network of people who've been very, very, very helpful, very, very, very supportive. They've been a pillar of strength. They've been people we can turn to at the last minute and say, listen, we need your help. We need someone to take up a role. We need someone to give us guidance. We need you. And they've almost never have they said no. And these people, without any prompting, are also into tonight's meeting. So you can sense for yourself how much we appreciate them and they seem to enjoy our meetings. And the two people whom we call the friendliest friends of BKC Fireflies are our grammarian for the evening, Toastmaster Sangeeta Shruti, and our general evaluator, who I don't know if he's still there. Aditya, are you still there?
He's not in the meeting.
All right. So Aditya, your co best friends of BKC Fireflies, you, Aditya, and Kalpana are not there. Thank you, Sangeeta Shruti. From the bottom of our heart, we've come to rely on you. We're like, okay, Sangeeta Shruti is going to take care of it. Don't worry about it. So it's like that internally in our club. So thank you so much for being a good friend of BKC Fireflies.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure mine.
All right. And hopefully the next XCOM will also be able to count on you, Aditya, Kalpana, all you stalwart Toastmasters for future help. Thank you, everyone. This was our little attempt at letting you know that we appreciate you. We see all the work that you're putting in as Fireflies to evolve and grow. Thank you very much. Now we have to talk about something which is equally important, which is the next XCOM that is going to come in. The search committee was led by our immediate past president. Let me put her on spotlight alongside myself. So I, as the current president of BKC Fireflies, was not directly involved in selecting and nominating and all that. The person who was responsible for that is the immediate past president, Sandhya Krishnan, who spoke and who connected with the people who are coming in as executive committee members in the year 2024-25. The protocol for this is that I will be announcing the names of people we are nominating for those roles. If there's anyone from the audience who's a BKC Fireflies member, of course, who would like to be considered for the same role, please do speak up and say, put up your hand and say that you would like to be considered for that role, and then we can have you and our own nominee give a little bit of a speech about what they plan to do with the role, and then we have a voting. If there is no other nominee from the floor for a role, then the nominated person will be deemed elected to that position, and they'll continue in that role for the coming year. Let me start with the president, the nominee for the president of BKC Fireflies for the year 2024-2025. And that happens to be a person whose video is turned off once again. That happens to be Toastmaster Cynthia Gokhale. So she is our nominee for the president of BKC Fireflies for the year 2024-2025. Is there anybody from the floor who believes that they would also like to be considered for the role of president? If there's no one, Cynthia, congratulations. You have been elected unopposed to the post of president of BKC Fireflies.
Thank you.
All right, I'll give you a chance to address the club right after this, because you'll be doing this more often starting July. The nominee for the vice president of education, the person who will be doing Sandhya's role, is myself. I know it's a little bit weird for me to say I am the nominee for the vice president of education, but if there's anybody from the floor who wants to do the role of vice president of education, please do step up now. And if there's no one, I'll count to 3. If there's no one, I am now the vice president of education at BKC Fireflies. And those who are clapping, I've made note of the people who clapped first. You'll be the first people who will be speaking at our next meeting. I'm not going to let you guys go. All right?
You're so efficient. You deserve this role.
You watch what I'm going to do with you guys now. All right. The next role in the hierarchy of BKC of the XCOM is the vice president of membership. And for that, our club has nominated Toastmaster Bhuvi Gupta to be the vice president of membership. Her job will be to talk to people who are interested in BKC Fireflies or Toastmasters and help them come into the club. Is there anyone who wants to be from the floor who wants to be the vice president of membership? I'm going to count to 3. 3, 2, and 1. Bhuvi, congratulations. You're now the VP of membership at BKC Fireflies. Of course. Our next nominee for the VP of PR is Toastmaster Niyama Chintanawala. Her job will be to make sure that people know about BKC Fireflies, all the work we do behind the scenes, get the posters out, make sure that our people's achievements are recognized, all those good things happen, and everybody's happy. So, Niyamat, let me first ask if there's anybody from the floor who wants to be the VP of PR. If not, 3, 2, and 1. Niyamat, congratulations. You're now the VP of PR.
Thank you.
All right. I don't believe the secretary is, our nominee for the secretary is in the meeting, Sandhya, is that right? No, she's not there. Okay. So our nominee for the secretary is Nidhi, but she's not here. So I'm going to assume that if there's anybody from the floor who wants to be the nominee for secretary, please do let us know. Otherwise, we'll move on to the treasurer. The treasurer of the club is, the nominee for the treasurer of the club is Dr. Saurabh Patil. His video is turned off again. Saurabh, you need to keep a video on, my friend. But the nominee is Dr. Saurabh Patil for the treasurer. Is there anybody who wants to be the treasurer instead of him? If not, Saurabh is the final choice for treasurer. And last but not the least, and the person you'll be seeing first in every upcoming meeting of BKC Fireflies, is the nominee for the Sergeant at Arms, the role that Saurabh executed today. Our nominee for that is Toastmaster Mahesh Dikia, who's been going from strength to strength in BKC Fireflies. And now it's time for him to step into the executive team as our nominee for the Sergeant at Arms. Is there anybody else who believes that they can be the Sergeant at Arms as well? If not, let me count to 3, 3, 2, and 1. Mahesh, congratulations. You've now been elected as the Sergeant at Arms of BKC Fireflies. Cynthia, now is the time when you can maybe address the club for 2 minutes or less, however much time you want.
This sounds like a table topic. Anyways, I can't speak much because I've got a very bad cold, but I'm really honored to be a part of the ExCom for the BKC Fireflies, and I'm looking forward to the support of each one of you to take it to the next level. The current committee members who have been selected, looking forward to having your support full-fledged to make this club really rock at the district level as well as at the national level. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and placing your trust in me. Thank you so much. I think I did well within 1 minute.
She's already very, very conscious of the time that her speech is through. Congratulations, Cynthia. We're looking forward to working with you and supporting you in all the ways we can. You have Cyril, myself, Sandhya, Saurabh, of course, is part of the ExCom also. So we have all our support. And the new ExCom team looks really, really capable of doing the work that we did last year. Congratulations. Now that all this stuff is done, Momita, we're going to ask you one last time to tell us what you thought about the meeting and give us any feedback on how we can do better.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So this was my first time ever attending a Toastmasters meeting, and I had a lot of fun. I got to know about a lot of things, and even though I was not taking notes physically, there were things that I did make a mental note that, oh, while speaking, this can be something that I can also include. Oh, this is something that I need to work on. So those were the things that I did make a note of, and I'm looking forward to improve on them. And as a feedback, I don't think so. I have any feedback as of now. Is that a good enough response?
It's great. I mean, any response which says that you guys did so well that I have nothing to say, I'll take that. But I'm sure there's something that we could have done better. Next time when you attend our meetings, maybe you'll have something more to say. So thank you so much for joining us at BKC Fireflies meeting 142. This meeting will be, oh, let me end the recording. Stop recording.